Dear community, today I'm announcing my departure from the AVA team as I've been unable to get a custom room sorted because I no longer think that we're going to get custom room in the game, and therefore I see no reason for me to continue in the position that I'm currently in. This video, I'm going to release in order to share with you the things that we went through the course of 1.5 years, to try and give you hopefully a little bit of better insight of why I think it's not going to happen. For you all to understand the situation. So yeah, now the big word is out. It's crazy to think. I've been involved with the game in some positions since September 2014. So that's almost 9 years. That's a very, very long time. Back then, since I became an ESL admin, it was funny because back in 2014, like, nobody knew me, and then within like half a year, became fairly known in the community. Within a year, everyone basically knew me. It kind of built up from there on. Moving on to EME, moving on to dog tag, moving on to global, and yeah, that it kind of feels like the end of an era now, leaving the game. Yeah, to get you into the story, what I've done after the June update, I gave the devs an ultimatum. I was pretty much tired of not getting proper answers on custom rooms, and I gave them until the July update to give me more information about that. It took a little bit longer for them to discuss it because we did a June survey, as you know. What you may know now is that Bunny made this survey with the sole purpose of getting information for custom rooms, because after the June update, a few days after I gave my ultimatum, the devs, Evan, MSLA for clarity's sake, I'll call him Evan in this video. That's how I got to know him. He took over from David after the June update. David was removed from his position as a product manager because top management found he was fighting with the devs too much, and yeah, the devs didn't like that. Rightfully so, because the devs aren't properly listening. I'll get down to that later on. But yeah, that means that Evan is now on his own on this project. He went to the devs, he asked them about custom rooms after the June update, and the devs said, we need more data. Yeah, for me that was shocking. I wanted to pretty much quit on the spot, but because I had given my ultimatum, I decided to stick around a little bit and see what we could do. I refused to make that survey as well. It was Bunny who made the survey, and yeah, with the sole purpose of getting the information for custom rooms. From the people that responded, almost half of them replied that we needed custom rooms. It was, I think, apart from bug fixes, the most asked thing in the survey to highlight how important it is. And last Tuesday, when they finally went to discuss what's going to be coming in the future, they said that custom room still is not a top priority for them. In other words, they're not working on it. They don't have any plans for it yet. So it is going to take quite some time to even get that sorted. And in my opinion, I don't think that is going to happen. I'm going to explain to you, we go through the past year, why I think it's not going to happen from a dev's point of view and not from top management point. So first, to take you back, the story of asking for custom rooms basically starts in November of 2021. This was during the CBT test. We had a partner test a few weeks before. We had custom rooms there. They were removed for the public CBT test. They were removed then because there was a bug with the game, and then we highlighted how important custom rooms for the game. We also stated, yeah, we need. I suggested to the devs that we should use the DocTag in-game UI because that looks a little bit cleaner. The devs decided to go with full UI rework. After which I later learned in, I think, about November of last year, that this current UI is hard-coded. So to add custom rooms in is going to be significantly more difficult than just adding any other game mode, which is already difficult enough. To highlight how difficult the coding is to work with, because the coding is a modified version of Unreal 1.5 to try and make that work with Unreal Engine 3. That's the coding base that they have to use. And if I just to highlight, when the devs had to release AVA Train, it took them 2 weeks to implement this. 2 weeks. Implementing it to Steam was about 3 to 4 months. Implementing the anti-cheat almost took them half a year because it was so difficult to make that work. And for custom rooms, the devs back in December last year, they gave me a time frame of 2 months, which I don't think is too bad. It's not unreasonable. I know they're probably not going to be able to do this in 2 months. It will probably be 3 or maybe even 4 months, given the problems that we will face with a hard-coded UI. But yeah, that is something that I learned from the devs over the course of last year. This is when, in January, I decided to do the survey in my update preview stream. And from that survey, it became very clear that there's 2 things the community wanted back half a year ago. So that was co-op, custom rooms. That data was presented to the devs, and the devs looked at that and were like, okay, custom rooms is going to be very, very difficult for us to implement. It's going to take a lot of time. We don't want to do that for now. So we're first going to do co-op, and then we're going to do custom rooms. That's what they told me then. And yeah, at that point, I didn't really, I couldn't really say much more about it, or then, all right, we'll first see with co-op, and then we'll get custom rooms. So I was looking forward to that. So we got 2 co-op modes. Then we also had an update with nothing. So it's like, okay, maybe the devs are working on custom rooms because they said that. But yeah, like I just said to you, the June update, they still requested more information for custom rooms. Absolutely monstrous. Now, the real reason, because from here, you're just, I mean, let's be real. The devs saying we need more information is an excuse. It's bullshit. That makes no sense at all, and it's bullshit. It's just not true. The real reason why the devs are not going to do custom rooms, because it's just too difficult. Like I said, it's hard-coded, the UI is hard-coded. We're on Unreal Engine 1.5, which is very, very difficult to work with. How difficult it is to give you another illustration. Breach doesn't have a kick function. Hasn't had it since launch. We noted it to the devs since launch, and the devs haven't fixed it. The reason is not because they forgot about it. The reason is they don't want to. It's too much work. You could describe it as you've built a house and you figured out, oh, this brick is not correct. We have to replace it with another brick. That brick being the kick function. Now, in a normal situation with a normal coding, you push that brick out, put some cement around it, and push a new brick in and make sure that it works. So sort of a modular kind of thing. The way this coding works is you have to remove all the layers on top from the house until you're at the layer of the brick that you want to replace. Move it out, a new brick in, and then build everything back on top. That's how the current coding works. And that's why it's so difficult for the devs to work with this code. And for them, I mean, they're working on different projects. They're working on Global, AVA, Java, AVA, Project AVA in some sense too. Not all of them, because Project AVA is currently being developed in Unreal Engine 4, and the devs, I don't think they're all familiar with that. I'll dive into Project AVA a little bit later on, because that's also important for you to know a little bit about that, at least what I know, which is a lot. But the devs are doing a lot of things. So for the devs, if what they release really doesn't matter. I mean, the devs are getting paid, they just need to work. And if you're working and you have the opportunity to choose what you can work on, you obviously are not going to do the thing. The big project was going to take many months, high risk of fail, high risk of burnout, stress, whatnot. So I understand from the devs' point of view why that's not happening. And this is where the devs should have been overruled in the past to make sure that we would still get custom rooms. The problem is, even back when David was in a project manager position, he did not really have the absolute authority. He could push a lot of things through, but in the end, the team lead of the devs, this person also has a lot to say. And this person I have not been in touch with. This person, I've tried to get in touch with this person. I don't think this person speaks very good English, but this person did not want to get into any chats or so with me. So there was nowhere really to convince him other than through David. And we tried a lot, which is why David also got into a lot of fights with the devs and eventually removed after the June update. But yeah, because they, yeah, in my opinion, they have too much power, and they have the option to decide what they want to do with the game. I mean, like I said, they're going to get paid anyways, and yeah, because custom rooms is going to be too difficult, well, very, very difficult to code in, they're not going to do that. Now, that leaves us with the only other option. Who can overrule the devs then? Well, there's only one entity that can, and that's top management. Now, the reason why I think top management is not going to overrule them is very simple. For top management, when they're deciding things, they look at money, as any top management would do. The problem that you have, again, with how the servers and the coding works is that if we want custom rooms, the servers will have to double, because you cannot use one server for quick match and custom rooms. You need a server for quick match, you need a server for custom room. So basically your operational costs are going to double. We're currently looking at about 1,400 players at peak, and yeah, if you're going to ask top management like, hey, can we do custom rooms? For them it is, okay, we have a player base of 1,400 at peak, do we want to double our operational costs to get that sorted? Yeah. A sane person would not do this. Maybe if you want to make a last-ditch effort to keep the game alive. But I really don't see that happening. And this combined makes me think we are not going to get custom rooms. It's already a question how long the game is going to stick around. Because, I mean, we're still going to get updates. I can already tell you that the August update will feature another co-op mode. The co-op mode that we're going to get is Death Valley. There will also be some stuff being considered because it will be the anniversary update. It will be 1 year that the game is around. Not going to share more about that. Not that I know much more. I'm going to share more about it, but you know the mode. But I think from now on we're just going to get similar updates. So 2 guns per update, some bug fixes, some new skins, a new game mode. And then with the Battle Pass update, which we're going to get, I think, in September, then there will be 6 guns and likely a mode, or maybe not even a mode, because they're too busy to. But yeah, like I highlighted before, just to code in a new mode, even though it's already an existing mode, because the coding base is so difficult to work with. It takes 2 weeks already, and then you still have to do the other things. So that's why updates are also quite slim. So yeah, who can you really blame for this? I think, in my personal opinion, most of the issues, they boil down from the bad coding. Because the coding base is bad. Devs don't want to do difficult stuff, which means we're not getting the stuff that we really want, which means we're not getting custom rooms, which means that the game can't grow. It's basically, it basically adds up to this. It stacks. And I've heard, and just to make one thing clear with you, the coding base, yeah, like I said, it is really, really bad, but I've heard a lot of words from the community saying that the devs are lazy, devs are not listening. Well, they're not fully listening, they're listening a bit, but that the devs are lazy, the devs are not doing anything. That's just simply not true. I mean, when we have an update, the devs get into the office at about 4 in the morning, and there are always issues also popping up, so the devs have to stick around for longer. So their workday will be from like 4 a.m. like 7 or 8 p.m. in the evening, and then the next day they will have to work again. They're working more than your average 40-week work hour. They're definitely not lazy. They're putting in a lot of time, but what they have to work with is so incredibly difficult to work with that they struggle. And obviously, they don't want to do the difficult things that might bring them in trouble. So that's why things are happening as they are. Another story that I'd like to tell you, it's a story that dominated A.V.A Global last year. It was about the MP7. It took 4 months for the gun to fix. It was never really made clear to the community why, for good reasons. But I'm going to tell you the story this time around. Also to highlight how hard the coding base is to work with, but to give you a bit of an idea how much of a fiasco that was. Yeah, it took 4 months to fix. I told the devs basically straight up, okay, based on calculations, you need to nerf the gun by about 2.2 ROF. that in that way the DPS would make sense. Eventually, the gun ended up being nerfed by like 2.38 in ROF, so slightly more than I suggested. But I was already fairly close that day, immediately got with that. But it first of all took about a month and a half for the devs to acknowledge that the gun was broken. Then it took them about 2 to 3 weeks to figure out the stats required to nerf it. And then you're thinking, hey, that's only 2 months. Why did it take 4 months? Well, the problem is when they tried to fix the MP7, when they tried to change the stats, the game would crash. The game would literally crash. It was like the Pandora's box of the game. It would crash whatever they tried to do. Whenever they touched that gun, the game would break. It would absolutely break. So in order to fix the game, and in order to nerf the MP7, what the devs had to do is they had to fully remove the gun from the build, add in a newly coded MP7 with the correct stats, and then it would work. And that is how the MP7 got nerfed, and that's why it took 4 months. So, again, I mean, of course, the first 1.5 months is way too long. That you can definitely say, okay, this is the dev's fault. They should have just gone with my calculations right away. They should have just listened that it was broken, and it wouldn't have taken, the first 2 months wouldn't have taken this long. But the second 2 months, it's all down to the coding base that we're working on, and the engine, the Unreal 1.5 modified version, is just way too old. So yeah, what does the future hold? Well, the devs are, like I said, Project AVA is in the pipeline, an Unreal Engine 4 game that is said to be like an open world survival kind of game. I think based on like quarterly reports that the devs release, I think, or Neo's release, I think the idea is for them to have like a beta in Q4 of this year or Q1 of next year. I think that is the idea, but it has been pushed back already, so I have no idea when that's really going to be released. But that is something that I'll obviously still keep an eye on and see if they do anything, because there were rumors last year that they were thinking about maybe including like a sort of classic mode with some of the modes that we are familiar with into that game. And if they do that, then yeah, I would be highly interested in playing the game, and also even helping out because as Bureau, AVA is is in a sense kind of part of my life. I really like the game, and the reason why I stuck around for so long is to make sure that the game is enjoyable for us all, but also to make sure that we could have had competitive, do tournaments and have fun like we had in the past. That's why I stuck around for so long, because yeah, I realize more and well how much of an impact that I do have on the game, and yeah, what a change it is going to bring. Because I gave the partners a list of the things that I do. I'm going to just scroll up to that and let you know how much that is, so you have a bit of an idea what is going to fall away. So I was one of the 2 people speaking with the devs together with Bunny. I was a bit more active than Bunny on that, so that is going to fall away mostly. I managed the partner program that is now without management. I managed the social media DMs, which was Twitter and Facebook. Mostly Facebook. I would get about 2, sometimes 3 DMs a day. I would reply to them. Yeah, either Bunny has to pick that up or that's going to be without management. Managing the Discord, so talking to you guys, explaining how things are, with, of course, knowledge from behind the scenes. So a lot of people always thought I was defending the devs. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to call them out for, like, big fuck-ups, while like the touchy internal things, of course, I can't address. But if the devs do something wrong, I would still call them out. So it's not that I was defending them in that sense, but more defending the game in a sense. Because if there was stuff, there's stuff that I shared with you that could, I don't think that's potentially harming. There's still stuff that I know about the game that will be harming if I would share it with you, which I'm obviously not going to share because I don't want to wish any ill upon the game. And yeah, that's basically what I've done also the time I'm talking to you. So try to explain things with the information that I can give you, just to, yeah, just to provide some clarity to you that you otherwise wouldn't get. So that is going to fall away. I managed the Wikia. Haven't done so in the last 3 months or so. When I bought the house, I kind of stopped doing that because I still had to focus on other things for the game to make sure that stuff was getting forwarded to the devs. Sharing social posts, so on Twitter, on Facebook, that will mostly fall away. The update preview stream not going to happen anymore. So the update info that you're going to get is what the devs are going to give you, not the information that I'm going to give you. Yeah, testing stuff to identify bugs. I was always helping out together with the community to try and find bugs, to give the devs visual proof of this so they would get it fixed. So bug fixing is going to take a longer time. Pass along suggestions with the data to get stuff changed. That now is in the hands of Bunny, who also has less time for this than me. So forwarding things is going to be significantly more difficult from now on. Edit surveys, well, Bunny will still do some surveys, so that's not the biggest issue. And I manage the Steam forums, which Bunny also still does, but on Steam forums you also get some less replies. That one. So that's the impact that it will have. And I think with that, I pretty much covered everything. So I will do a stream later on today, so you can still ask me some questions. Like I said, I'm not going to disclose anything that I think might be potentially harming from the game. Even though I'm not under NDA, I was never under NDA. I don't want to share anything that could be potentially damaging to Neos or to the game, because I do not want that. What I wanted to do with this video is to at least make clear what has all happened, and to make you understand why I'm leaving, why I think custom rooms is not going to happen. You understand how that went. Pretty much it. I will, in a few weeks time, I will release some names. I think there are 32 names, because I've done an investigation. Some people a while ago to the GPU cheat. I was able to obtain 32 names that have a 99% probability of using or having used these cheats. So I will make a video in a couple of weeks to share that data with you. Of course, I'm not going to tell you how I managed to collect this information, what information has been sent to the devs, because that could potentially be damaging. But I am going to share the names with you, just to give that to you, because it's information that I gather with others. For now, though, this is the end for me on the AVA team. I will leave my role next week, Friday, somewhere on the 11th of August. So I'll still stick around on the role for now. But after that, really end. Very long video, 23 minutes, but hopefully it does at least explain in detail why I'm leaving the team. And I want to thank you all for the support throughout these years. It was great working with you, and being well, such a big part of the community. Although lately it did get frustrating at times. I will still play the game. I'll still stream the game. I'll just not be involved, wasting my time on stuff that I'm not going to. Thank you for watching, and see you on stream.